If there's one skill that can change your future, unlock opportunities, build your confidence, and make you unstoppable, it's communication. Not coding, not marketing, not finance, but the ability to express, to connect, to lead with your words. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you cannot make others believe in it, it dies in silence. The greatest ideas never fail because they were bad. They failed because no one knew how to explain them. In a world full of noise, the one who can speak clearly and move hearts will always stand out. This isn't just about public speaking. It's about the courage to speak up in a meeting, the confidence to present your vision, and the grace to handle conflict without destroying relationships. When you master communication, you master influence, you attract investors, build teams, and build trust. You solve problems faster. You create energy in the room. The world follows people who make them feel something, and that power lies in the way you speak. I was once terrible at it, shy, awkward, rejected. But I made it my mission to learn, not to be perfect, but to be understood. And when people began to listen, doors opened. So if you're young, struggling, full of dreams, but feel invisible, start here. Learn this skill. Practice every day. Speak even if your voice shakes, because your words can change your world. A brilliant idea that stays locked inside your head is just a ghost of potential. It has no form, no power, no presence in the real world until it is expressed. Most people believe that their knowledge, their intelligence, or their creativity alone will be enough to get them noticed. They sit quietly waiting for the world to recognize them based on the work they've done behind the scenes. But the truth is brutal. This world doesn't reward silence, it rewards clarity, courage, and conviction. No matter how powerful your idea is, it dies in silence if you don't give it a voice. There are countless people in the world right now who are more talented than the ones on the stage. There are dreamers more creative than the entrepreneurs making headlines. There are visionaries with better solutions, better plans, better products, but they remain invisible. Why? Because they never learned how to communicate. They never learned how to take their thoughts and translate them into a language others could understand. And if no one understands you, no one supports you. You remain alone in your brilliance, misunderstood and overlooked. This is the cruel truth of life. You may be the best in the room, but if you can't speak up, someone less skilled will speak louder and take the opportunity that could have been yours. The ability to express yourself, to speak with clarity, confidence, and conviction becomes the key that unlocks doors. You may think the world is fair, but it's not fair in silence. It's only fair when you speak up, when you tell the world who you are and what you bring to the table. Every movement in history, every revolution, every breakthrough started with a voice. Someone stood up and said, I believe in this. They used their words to move people, to inspire change, to gather support. If those same individuals had kept their beliefs hidden, nothing would have changed. The world would have stayed the same. So when you keep your ideas to yourself, you don't just delay your progress, you deny the world something valuable. You keep the solution hidden. You rob others of what you could have given them. And don't think this is just about speaking on a stage. This is about your everyday life. It's about raising your hand in a meeting when you see a better way. It's about standing up for your ideas when others doubt you. It's about communicating with confidence in a job interview, in a negotiation, in a simple conversation that might open a new door. Every interaction is an opportunity to use your voice as your power. And if you let it pass, someone else will seize it. There's a fear that holds people back. The fear of being judged, the fear of saying the wrong thing, the fear of not being perfect. But perfection is not what people are looking for. They're looking for truth. They're looking for energy. They're looking for someone who dares to speak even when their voice shakes. That courage, not perfection, is what connects people. And the more you practice, the stronger your voice becomes. You don't have to be born a great communicator. You can learn it. Just like any skill, it can be developed, refined, sharpened. Start small. Talk about your ideas to one person, then two, then five. Record yourself speaking. Watch great speakers. Learn from how they hold their audience, how they use tone, how they pause, how they make every word count. This is a craft, and those who master it rise faster than anyone else, even those with more talent. It's painful to see people with so much inside them living small lives because they never gave their voice a chance. They shrink when they should expand. They hide when they should shine, but it's not too late. You can choose to become the kind of person whose ideas are no longer trapped. You can become the voice people remember, the leader people trust, the speaker who sparks a fire in others. The world needs your voice. The question is, will you give it permission to be heard? Confidence isn't a gift that some are born with and others are not. It's not a personality trait reserved for the lucky few who seem to shine naturally. Confidence is a skill, a muscle. It grows with use. And the truth is, it grows fastest when you learn to speak, especially when you're scared, especially when your heart is pounding and your hands are shaking. Every time you step up and say something, even when you doubt yourself, you chip away at fear. You build a version of yourself who becomes a little braver, a little stronger, a little more unstoppable. Most people believe they must wait until they feel confident to speak up, so they stay quiet. They tell themselves, one day when I'm ready, but that day never comes, because confidence does not show up first. Action does. You speak first, you act first, you try first, and through that trial, through that messiness, through the stumbles and awkward pauses and trembling voices, confidence begins to take root. You don't become confident and then speak. You speak, and through speaking, you become confident. Think of every confident person you've ever seen. The speaker on stage, the entrepreneur pitching investors, the leader guiding a team through chaos. You may assume they were always that way, but most of them started out terrified. The difference was they didn't let fear win. They pushed through. They did it badly, then a little better, then eventually. What you see is the result of hundreds of unseen moments where they failed, got embarrassed, corrected themselves, and tried again. That process is what built the foundation of their confidence. When you speak, you are not just learning how to communicate, you are training yourself to be seen, to be heard, to take up space in the world. Every word you speak breaks the invisible wall that keeps so many people hidden, and with every crack in that wall, the light comes in. You begin to realize that people are not as harsh as you thought. They are not waiting to laugh at you. They are listening, hoping to be inspired, hoping to connect. And the moment you realize your voice can move someone else, you begin to trust it more. Confidence is not about having all the right words. It's about believing that your words matter, even if they're imperfect. When you speak from a real place, when you speak with intention, people feel that they don't remember the exact sentence. They remember the energy. They remember your certainty, your tone, the spark in your eyes. That's what confidence looks like. And you don't get that spark by staying silent. You get it by showing up and daring to try. The most dangerous thing you can do is wait until the fear goes away, because it won't. Fear doesn't disappear with time. It disappears with action. And the more you act, the smaller it becomes. Over time, what used to scare you becomes your comfort zone. Speaking to 5 people becomes speaking to 50, then 500, then the world. And you look back one day and realize you are no longer the quiet, unsure version of yourself. You've evolved. Because you chose to do the uncomfortable thing over and over again. Speaking is the fastest way to grow, because it forces you to face your limits. It exposes your weaknesses. And that's a gift. Once you know where you fall short, you can improve. You learn to breathe better. You learn to control your tone. You learn to connect with people. You learn to hold attention. And with each lesson, your confidence builds like a fire being fed, one log at a time. No one can give you confidence. Not a mentor, not a book, not even this message. You have to earn it. You have to fight for it. And that fight begins the moment you decide your voice deserves to be heard. You don't have to start big. Start with your circle. Speak up in conversations. Share your thoughts. Raise your hand. And when fear tells you to stay quiet, prove it wrong. Again and again. Because the world does not belong to the most talented, it belongs to the most courageous. And courage is just fear walked through. One step at a time. That's how confidence is built. In every relationship, every business, every community, and every movement that has ever lasted, there is one invisible thread holding it all together: trust. And trust is never built in silence. It is built with words. The kind of words that are honest, clear, and steady. When you communicate with clarity and consistency, people begin to believe in you. They begin to feel safe around you. They begin to understand that you mean what you say and say what you mean. And that kind of presence, that kind of energy is rare in a world full of noise and confusion. People don't follow titles. They don't follow resumes. They follow those they trust. They listen to those who make them feel heard. They partner with those who speak transparently. The greatest business deals in history weren't just about numbers and projections. They were sealed with conversations where people felt aligned, understood, and valued. When you communicate with purpose, you don't just inform, you connect. And that connection creates loyalty that money can't buy. Think of a team. A leader can have the perfect plan, but if they cannot communicate it in a way that makes others believe in it, the plan dies. Miscommunication causes confusion. Confusion breeds frustration, and frustration creates chaos. But when a leader speaks clearly, when they say exactly what they mean, listen deeply, respond thoughtfully, they build a team that doesn't just follow instructions, but moves in unity. That unity becomes their power. It's not charisma, it's not charm. It's the discipline of communication that builds unshakable trust. This truth goes beyond leadership. It affects friendships, families, and partnerships. How many relationships break not because of what was done, but because of what was never said? The silence between people becomes a gap, and in that gap, assumptions grow. Misunderstandings spread like wildfire when words are withheld. But when you speak honestly, when you say this is what I feel, or this is what I need, or even I don't have the answer right now, but I'm here, you break that silence, you protect the connection. You give the relationship a chance to breathe and grow. Communication is not just about speaking, it's about listening. When people speak and they feel truly heard, they begin to trust you. And when you reflect that you've listened, not just by nodding, but by responding in a way that makes them feel seen, they lean in, they open up, and they begin to trust not just your words, but your heart. That kind of trust isn't built overnight, but it is built moment by moment, word by word, over time. In business, trust speeds up everything. When there's trust, decisions are faster, collaboration is easier. Innovation thrives, no one wastes energy second-guessing intentions. Instead of guarding themselves, people bring their full creativity because they know their voice matters. That's the kind of environment communication creates. It's not about giving the perfect speech, it's about creating a rhythm of real, honest conversations where people feel valued. And when things go wrong, as they always do, it's communication that holds everything together. Anyone can lead when everything's perfect. But when things fall apart and the pressure rises, people look to those who can communicate calmly and clearly. A few right words in a crisis can save an entire project. A single conversation can prevent a breakdown that would have cost everything. That's the power of someone who knows how to use their voice wisely. It's not about fancy vocabulary or being the loudest. It's about being real. People are drawn to those who are authentic. If you can speak simply but sincerely, if your words match your actions, if your message is consistent across every platform, every room, every conversation, people will trust you. And when people trust you, they support you. They forgive your mistakes. They stay loyal when things get tough. That's the reward of clear, honest communication. So whether you're leading a business, building a brand, raising a family, or simply trying to grow into the next version of yourself, know this: trust is the currency of life. And communication is how you earn it. The more skillful you become in this area, the more stable everything else becomes. The people who go far are not always the smartest, richest, or most talented, but they are the ones who know how to speak in a way that makes people believe. And belief is what makes all things possible. Words alone are not enough. You can memorize speeches, rehearse your lines, and craft the most perfect sentence, but if the energy behind those words is dead, no one will listen. People don't follow logic first. They follow feeling. They follow presence. They are drawn to conviction, not just diction. You may think your job is to impress people with your vocabulary or your facts, but your real power comes from how you make them feel when you speak. The energy in your voice, the fire in your tone, the life in your body language, these things carry more weight than the words themselves. When someone speaks with real passion, you can feel it. Their words are alive. They don't just say what they know, they express what they believe. And belief is contagious. It spreads like a flame. When you speak from a place of truth and purpose, people lean in. Their attention sharpens. Their hearts open. They want to follow. Not because of what you said, but because of how you made them feel. You didn't just communicate a message, you transferred an emotion. And emotion drives decisions. It's not about being loud or dramatic. Some of the most powerful speakers don't yell, they simply speak with presence. You can sense they are fully in the moment. They are not pretending, not trying to impress, not seeking approval. They are connected to their message, and that connection creates magic. Their words resonate because they are grounded in something real. That kind of energy can't be faked. It has to be cultivated from the inside out. When you speak with energy, you awaken energy in others. You become a spark. And in a world full of dull, scripted, lifeless conversations, people crave that spark. They don't want more information, they want transformation. And transformation happens when words collide with soul. You don't need to be perfect to move someone, you just need to be real. Speak like it matters, speak like you believe it, speak like it's coming from the depths of your being, not from a script, but from a truth you've lived and felt. There's a reason people remember how you made them feel, because feelings stick. You may forget a speaker's exact sentence, but you'll always remember how their presence made you sit up straighter, breathe deeper, think differently. That's the secret of powerful communication. It's not just the words, but the life inside those words. Your energy is the signal, your authenticity is the frequency, and when those two align, you become unforgettable. People are drawn to those who are unapologetically themselves. When you drop the mask and speak with honest intensity, you invite others to do the same. You create a space where people feel safe to feel. That is leadership. That is influence. And that is built not with scripts, but with sincerity. Energy can't be faked. People know when you mean it. They also know when you don't. If you speak with flatness, hesitation, or fear, they'll feel that too. Your energy either builds trust or creates doubt. To build that kind of energy, you have to align your mind, your heart, and your body. Speak from a place of emotional connection. Don't just say what you've been told. Say what you've lived. Let your experiences fuel your message. Let your struggles, your wins, your lessons bleed into your words. That vulnerability creates power. Because it's not about being invincible, it's about being fully alive. The energy of aliveness is what people crave. And when you carry that, you never have to shout to be heard. This is why some people walk into a room and the atmosphere changes. It's not magic, it's energy. They carry a message that they believe in so deeply that it pours out of them effortlessly. And others feel it. That's what moves rooms, inspires change, and creates followers. If you want to be remembered, if you want to lead, if you want to influence, don't just speak words. Breathe life into them. So next time you speak, ask yourself, not just what do I want to say, but how do I want to make them feel? What energy am I bringing? What intention am I sending? Because when your words are backed by purpose and fueled by emotion, they don't just enter ears, they reach hearts. And hearts move the world.